Well, a little bit of drama towards the end there, Rob. Let's talk about that first of all. McGovern, there seems as if, whether he'll come out, we can see him hobbling off at the moment. Whether he'll be out for the second half or not, I'm sure Bar's going to be warming up at half-time, ready to come in, won't he?
I think he's struggling. I think he's struggling there with a hamstring or like a lower back problem or whatever. Like, but you can't take no chances with goalkeepers.
No.
Like I say the good thing about it is right on the stroke of half-time, so he can go in and assess it. And I would imagine in the next 5 minutes, if we see the young lad Barden coming out, then he's going to be coming on. Because like I say, you can't take a risk with goalkeepers.
No. Well, let's have a look at the way Norwich have set up and QPR have set up in that first half. And been quite impressed with QPR, haven't we? As much as Norwich have had their opportunities and probably could have had maybe a penalty at least, I would say. QPR have caused Norwich quite a few problems. Just tell us how you think it is.
I think what's happened normally this year in oppositions, they've sat deep and they were happy to stay sat deep. And we said, if they get away with a point, they'll be happy. QPR are different. I think when they get possession of the ball, they're playing like a 3-4-3. In possession, they're a 3-4-3. Now, what this does, they've got like the two wing backs play high here, but the front three stay up, like really high up the pitch, but narrow. So you got your two centre halves here, and what that does is encourages the fullbacks to come in because they have to make a 3-4. And then what happens then? The wing back comes nice and high up the pitch. So Max Aaron's on this case, if it's a right-hand side, what does he do here? Does he go out here and becomes a 3v3 situation there? And if Buendia doesn't come back or Ship or Kenny McLean doesn't come across, you've got a problem. But if that doesn't happen and QPR get the ball there, you've got basically you've got sometimes a 3v3 situation there, and if a fullback doesn't come back, whether it's the right side or the left back, you've got an area here where the forward will run off the player and get the ball in here as well. So I think in possession, QPR have been a real threat on the counter-attack.
So it's making a real difficulty for the fullbacks, isn't it? Essentially for Max Aarons and Sorensen. They've got a decision to make. They're pushing up into that half and half, aren't they, in between those two, because Buendia and Cantwell are staying narrow and not coming back far enough.
These are Norwich wide men.
McLean and Skip aren't going to go out wide into those areas, and Vrancic isn't either. So they're standing in between, which makes Zarin stay with the three, which he does, and if they do that, they then play through here. And then if he does go to him, the space is in behind for him to peel out as well.
Absolutely.
So is that a case of QPR being clever in terms of their ball? They're not really trying to play through these midfield areas, are they? Because that's where Norwich got bodies.
You're bypassing 6 players there. You're bypassing 6 players there, and they will know if these get on here and these get on here, and it becomes like a 5v4. You know what I mean? A 5v5 sometimes. But like QPR as well as they're doing in possession, out of possession, they get back quick and become like a 5-4-1. And this is
so
what
the two wide men of the three.
Absolutely, So they're happy to drop back in out of possession, and this is what is making difficult for Norwich. This is what every team has done against Norwich this year.
Can you sustain that for 90 minutes though? Because that's an awful lot of running for those two frontmen in particular and those wing backs. Can they sustain that for 90 minutes?
Well, that's the hope Norwich have got. If they keep getting the ball and keep passing the ball in these areas, and when they get it, because there was one period of that game when Norwich must have had 25, 30 passes where they kept doing it. But to be fair to QPR, they defended really compact, really well, and like I say, ball across the box was all Norwich got. QPR cleared the ball. So, like you say, it's a tremendous work rate they've got, and like Norwich need to realise that. But I think sometimes, again, it's what we're saying. We've got Buendia, we've got Cantwell, we've got Vrancic there. They all want to get the ball in here. A couple of times, you know what I mean? Like, it's not as if QPR are sitting deep. So when Norwich overturn the ball here, the centre house up here, and Buendia's got in a couple of times. So maybe that's the ball Norwich need to look at tonight. The
almost
longer
play
ball
what they're
over.
playing.
Yeah,
so because Norwich do tend to have a kind of a slower build-up and a possession-based play, that gives these opportunities for these to get back into a 5. If these play a bit higher as a 3 up against these and go a bit longer and almost bypass our midfielder and almost put Vrancic up into the 4, that could benefit Norwich and play the similar sort of way to QPR.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because if you hit, it's not launching a ball; it's a pass. It's a controlled longer pass. QPR ain't sitting back; they're coming up when they've got the ball. They're pressing, and like I say, a couple of times the ball has gone over the top. Buendia's nearly got in, Pukki's nearly got in. So do that more often, and sometimes. It's as if it's not in Norwich's makeup, is it, to bypass the fullback, bypass the midfield. They always have to go through that. But you just have to look at where QPR today are playing. They're playing that longer pass in the spaces for either the forwards to make runs into the channels or the wing backs.
Yeah, well, let's speak to someone now who does plenty of running. Rob Eagle Rob, just tell us a little bit, first of all, about how much running you do now, because I know you do. How many marathons have you ran? You literally do 15 miles every few days or something ridiculous, don't you?
I've done 2 this year and about 4 or 5 half marathons. It's only been this year, really. I've always been a runner, like doing 4 or 5 miles, but this with lockdown and everything, I thought I'd give it a go, and put in two marathons and probably 4 or 5 half marathons.
That's pretty impressive. But someone who does do a lot of running, then you'll understand from a wing back's point of view in terms of those positions where they're playing, in terms of Norwich's wing backs or in QPR's wing backs. That's an awful lot of running they've got to get through for 90 minutes, isn't it, if they're going to play that way?
It is, but for Norwich, there's been so many times like they've just got to keep trying to get it in behind, because there's so much space in behind for that, like for the fullback to get round and an early cross to go in, but they just keep, cutting back in and kind of starting again, which is great play, patient football. But, you want to score goals, you need to get it in the box.
So is that a case, like we said then, it's about actually making QPR's wing-backs, not giving them the opportunity to get back early? Because we have seen Pukki at times spinning nice and early and running into those full-back positions, and he has picked the ball up 1 or 2 times. Yeah,
I think it's just, doing that early ball quite first, because I think Norwich will, love all the patient football, but, QPR are pressing quite well. So that, that one down the channel or the one just in between the centre halves, Pukki's probably going to get in at some point. I think QPR just keep pressing because they know they're not going to do that long ball, so they can play high.
That's the point. Have Norwich got the personnel to be able to play like that? Because you look at QPR's front three, are all very dynamic and have got plenty of pace. Norwich probably haven't got that as a front three, have they? Pukki's a willing runner, but in terms of Buendia and also Campbell, they're not the ones that are running behind the fullbacks.
No, but I still think whether you're quick or slow, you still got to make that run just to change the position of their defence. Come and feed, going in behind. If a defender can't read what you're going to do, then you're going to still get the ball in good areas. But like Buendia and Cantwell, they're always playing inside, which is great because they're good at it. But that running behind, will stretch their defence.
But just very quickly then, Rob, look, we've seen the way Norwich have played this season, and they stick with what they know. First half, second half, and change things maybe a little bit towards the end of a game. Do you think you'll say the same thing now? Do you think Daniel Farke will be saying just continue to play the way we play it, and the chance will come?
Yeah, I think he'll just go with what they've been doing for the last 2-3 seasons. But it's just that last. I just feel like they have to score the perfect goal to win this game. A run down the line and a cross in and a deflected goal. That still wins you the game. I think he'll just carry on as normal.
Okay, mate. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again after the game. I mean, he's not said anything too different to what we said in previous games, isn't it? We feel like we say the same things every time, don't we? We come in and say, because they get to games and it's a draw at half time, and we're saying, well, this is how you can change it to win the game. But he sticks with the way he plays and does the same things and generally gets the job done.
He has done. He's proved us wrong on so many occasions where we've probably had this conversation. But I think this conversation, you've got to give credit to QPR because they are showing some intent going forward. They want to score a goal because I think you've got a manager under pressure. They need to win. But out of possession, like you said, can they keep that energy up, that stamina up? Every time a possession, is 2 of these wide men going to come back? Are the 2 wing backs going to come back? It won't happen, and Norwich can exploit that if they keep on doing it. But what Rob said there, if Norwich do play a more sort of direct ball over the top, Max Aaron gets on, just cross it. Like a deflected goal is the same as a perfect goal, basically. But Norwich never seem to get a deflected goal by doing it early. It's always like a little, like you say, getting the ball in these areas, cutting back, playing in there, playing little triangles, which is great to see. And like I say, Norwich have scored goals from it, and they probably will tonight in the 80th minute or something like that. And if they do, fantastic. Yeah. But why wait for that last 10 minutes when these hopefully will tire? Because like I say, if you are more direct on occasions and put balls into danger areas, you get goals.
Yeah, well, let's hear from a fan's point of view now as well. Ollie Stone's joining us again. Ollie, watching that the first half there, have you been impressed with Norwich, or are you a bit worried about QPR? What are your thoughts?
I've been quite impressed with QPR. Like you're saying, they've been quite aggressive going forward, and also they've pressed quite hard, not let Norwich play. So it's not been the most exciting, I'd say, first half for Norwich, unlike a few of the previous games. But I agree with what you're saying there. Is can they keep it up? Do they have the engine to go 90 minutes? And hopefully Norwich can exploit it.
And as a Norwich fan, Ollie, you've seen this week in, week out, like we have for years now, the way Daniel Farke sets teams up. And we're kind of picking holes in terms of wanting to see goals come. But generally he gets the job done, doesn't he? So whatever he seems to do, he still sticks to his system and the way he wants to play and gets results. So, is he best sticking with what he does? Or would you as a fan like to see things change a little bit?
I guess when you're not 1-0 up, 2-0 up, you're always saying, "Oh, let's change it." But if you change it and go 1-0 down, you sort of then go, "Oh, well, yeah, he should have stuck to what he was doing." I'd like to see us maybe take a few more shots. I think I'm quite old-fashioned in if you don't have a shot, you don't score. So sometimes we try and play that final ball, which like we say has worked in the past, but. Yeah, if we can, I think, maybe to take a few more shots, you might, like you say, you might get that deflection. It might land to someone else's feet to create that chance.
And Ollie, being a high-end athlete yourself as well, I mean, can you appreciate the kind of the energy that the QPR team are going to need in terms of those wing-back positions? Well, I mean, you must have played a little bit of football yourself. What position did you play?
I was centre half. I didn't have the engine to keep getting up and down the field. I like the aerial. I like to be involved in the aerial battle, and obviously we've got a few games coming thick and fast that it'll be interesting to see whether they can keep it up for the next 45.
Okay, let's give you the opportunity now, Ollie. If you're Daniel Farke at half-time, you're in that changing room with him, what would you say to this team at half-time?
I think obviously first 10-15 minutes after the restart is obviously key, and just to keep pressing, keep being patient, and like you say, I think if we keep doing that they won't have the legs, and we can start picking off those passes and finding that little bit of extra space that maybe we haven't found in that first half.
And who do you think they could bring on? They've got a few options on the bench now, haven't they, with lots of players coming back. Hugo's one that hasn't been used much this season. He's an aerial threat. He's someone who's probably going to want a bit more of a direct ball into him.
It is, and I think if we can exploit down the wings and get those crosses in, I think he could be handy. He came on towards the end of the Watford game, and you could see he provided us with a different outlook. So he could be someone to go to. Like I say, we've got a lot of players coming back, which is exciting. 4, 5, 6 players off the bench there to make an impact.
But it does seem like an injury to another goalkeeper for us tonight. Barden's out there warming up and looks like he's coming on at half-time. Make a good wicket keeper, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he looks a good build, and like I say, it's obviously not good that McGovern's got injured, but sometimes people need that little break to get their opportunity, and hopefully he can come out there and show why he's Wales under-19 keeper.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Thanks for joining us again. We'll see you after the game.
Cheers.
Interesting to talk there, he's a central defender. I mean, there's no pace then, I'd imagine. Is that what it is?
Pace, mate.
That's what you have.
Why run when you can pass the ball? You don't have to run when you can pass the ball.
No, exactly. Well, let's look at Barden now. I mean, the teams are just on their way back out, but he's going to be starting this second half. What thoughts were going through his mind as a 19-year-old lad? He must be buzzing to get out there, but also quite nervous. It's a big game for Norwich after a defeat.
He will be nervous, and probably in hindsight, it would have been better him coming on the pitch, even if it was like 30 seconds before, because he's had 15 minutes now warming up, thinking I'm going to be coming on in 15 minutes. It's 0-0. Like I say, QPR are doing half decent defensively as well, so I'm going to be in a game here as well. But hopefully the butterflies will be going, because if he hasn't, there's something wrong with him. But it's an opportunity for him to come in, and it's another opportunity to show what quality's coming through the academy at the club. And
that's a young opportunity for a goalkeeper, 19, isn't it? You don't often see 19-years-olds getting on the pitch for teams.
No, but he's the Welsh under-19 keeper, so mug. Yeah, I mean, it's not the easiest position to play, but because he's been in and around the Wales, and they would have played in competitions against decent teams as well. So I mean, probably he will come out here, but. If he didn't have no nerves, you'd be worried. He's got to have nerves in there. Hopefully he's a talker. We'll see. You've got 2 experienced centre-halves in front of him that hopefully will sort of like protect him as well. But like I say, we'll just have to wait and see. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Still a chance for Norwich. Hope you get the 3 points. Enjoy the second half.